Woo!
The 9 Years Podcast.
Alright, welcome to the 9 Years Podcast, episode 31, I think, although I don't have my notes in front of me so I can't really check. That is because we're broadcasting, I say live, I don't know why I use that term, but it's as good as any. We're recording straight from Kingsmeadow on the evening of the Carlisle game, so we'll be talking about the Barnet game. We'll also address tonight's game as we go along, just to give you a little bit of a flavour of what the matchday atmosphere is like at Kingsmeadow on a cold Tuesday night against an ugly northern side that at the moment don't appear to be bringing too many fans, although we can probably say the same for ourselves. We're about 25 minutes before kick-off and it's a bit sparse around Kingsmeadow, but never mind. Right, just to let you the lowdown then, we're going to talk about the Barnet game shortly and then look ahead to the weekend's action after we talk about the Carlisle game. Birthday's game will squeeze in as well, so do not worry if you have missed that. But Stu, before we get into the Barnet game that I was at on the weekend, team news coming into tonight's game for Carlisle. Let's talk about this quickly beforehand. Obviously people listening will know the result by now, I'd hope. Connor Smith making his debut tonight, straight in the first team instead of Danny Bullman. Now, interesting for me, I was at Barnet on Saturday. I thought a weak link for us was Bullman and Reeves, not in terms of their particularly poor games, but it occurred to me that if one or the other should get injured or knocks, have we got options to replace them? Now, Connor Smith gets his opportunity to show that he could possibly be an opportunity, but if we're looking now at getting in the playoffs, is there a potential weakness in that position in terms of numbers, in terms of options, in terms of the fact that Reeves and Bullman have been playing a lot of games and Danny Bullman's not getting any younger?
Well, to be fair, I think Danny Bullman is some sort of medical stories. I think when they put him down eventually, even though he's not a horse, when they put him down, I think they're going to do some tests on him, because to be fair, I think he's looked after himself very well through his career, isn't he? I'm not too sure. I'm glad Connor Smith's come in today. I felt we needed to get him involved. I went down and trained a couple of weeks ago, and I've been quite vocal saying that two-footed engine glides around the pitch like Reeves does. And there's no point bringing him in for Watford if we're not going to play him, because hopefully Smith's going to be looking at a contract at the end of the season. So I think tonight's a great way to do it. We need legs out in midfield. Bearing in mind we've got Oxford on Saturday, and I can imagine Danny Bullman will be jumping at bits to get involved in that game, obviously against one of his former clubs that way.
Cool. Now, I arrived quite late here as well, Kingsmeadow. I've not actually heard myself the team news. You've told me that Connor Smith is starting. I think it's the same 11 otherwise, isn't it? So, yeah. So we're looking at Ryan Sweeney playing again at centre half. It's a big ask. It's a big ask for a player of his age to be playing such big games at such a young age. They come thick and fast now at this level, and every game's a high pressure game. He's looked very comfortable so far, very, very comfortable. But are we asking a lot of him at this stage? And really, in reality, do we have any other options now, especially as Carly Osborne is out for the season? Is this where we're going to perhaps be chancing our arm slightly in terms of getting a playoff place?
Possibly. Neil Wilder's on the Dons player yesterday, i.e. Monday, saying that if we look to a few players, experience, few have fallen through, some from League 1 clubs, some from League 2 clubs. So it probably suggests we're not looking for a kid from an academy. We're probably looking at someone like the player we got on loan from York. The name escapes me last year. I can't remember his name now. The York lad. But to be fair, I think they're looking for someone experienced rather than just someone to come in to fill gaps. So it probably shows you we're going for a playoff place. The squad is a little bit on that sort of stretch side, but I think we've got. If we can just get through these 7 games coming up for 3 weeks, see where we are from there, see if we can get the most you loan in, and then I think we go from there.
Dave Winfield was the name of the auxiliary player. It suddenly returned to my memory, which was good timing. So Carlisle tonight then, I'll tell you before we go into looking back at what happened on Saturday, Carlisle makes me remember a famous 4-4 draw that we had last season, as Mikey T joins us on the podcast. So, just looking at the team for tonight, all looking good. Mikey T now joining us in the background of the podcast. This is the perils maybe of recording live, if you get some of the PA in the background, so hopefully you can make us out over his voice. Carlisle, we drew 4-4 with last season, our first visit up to Brunton Park towards the start of last season, a last-minute equaliser from Adebayo Aziz. 8 goals in that game. Brings me on to my teaser for this week that Stu's going to ponder during this evening, and then we'll reveal the answer at the end. 8 goals in that game, but when was the last time AFC Wimbledon were involved in a game that featured 9 goals? That's the question. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not even sure of the answer myself at the moment, but we shall address it before the end of the show.
Yeah, I think you thrown me on that one, to be fair. 9 goals.
9 goals, so we might have to be looking back into the CCL days, possibly.
Ah, okay, thanks for the clue.
Well, I don't know, because I actually don't know. We might have had another one that's escaped my memory banks, but we'll see. Right, bye on Saturday then. Stuart, you didn't make the trip, but I was on South London press duties in the press box. The worst press box in the history of football. Honestly, with all due respect to Barnet, I myself, my dealings with the staff there, didn't have a problem. They were all very nice to me, but a press box without a roof, a press box that you have to sit in puddles, means you're not going to get a lot of reporting done. Lots of press, local press, national press. Nobody had an electronic device out of any sort. No one was risking their iPad, their iPhone, their laptops at all. So quite how we got any sort of information from the game, I don't know. It was not good. I was not impressed. I was impressed, however, with the result. Performance-wise, it was a very even game, actually. Barnet gave us a really, really stern test. It was a good examination. Highlights, we've already spoken about a couple of things in terms of centre midfield and things like that, and Sweeney coming at centre-half. Stu, what I've noticed is Andy Bartram. I think our good run of form possibly has coincided since he returned to the team away at Newport just before Christmas. We've been on a fantastic run since then, only one defeat since then. Our away record continues to be amazing, undefeated in 9. Andy Bartram offers a lot going forward, lots of problems he creates. But defensively, do you think he's doing his job quite right? I know I'm asking a lot. He tends to leave that side exposed quite often. Jonathan Mead seems to be facing up against opposition fullbacks and wingers that double up. Do we need to look at that as a potential weakness that's going to derail us slightly if we don't turn up defensively? Barnet had a lot of chances, and they did exploit that side often. That's where a lot of their chances came from.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I wonder sometimes whether we rely on the fact that Meads is, we've said before, Meads a one-on-one defender. Not seen many people really go up against him and get around him. You wonder sometimes, I don't think Bartram is scared to work, because I have seen him track back and so forth like that. You do wonder whether it's a case actually where we do go that Bartram, you stay where you are and such, and Meads do the one-on-one, and then when we break, we've already got Bartram in a high position. Not too sure. I think we can gamble. The good thing we've got, we've said this before, when we play the diamond midfield in there, we do bank sometimes that Barry Fuller and Jonathan Meads will be one-on-one against sometimes. But I think we could arguably say we've got probably the best two fullbacks one-on-one defending. So not too sure. I don't think Bartram is afraid to put it in terms of the players. If you look at Dave Fitzpatrick, which is one of his weaknesses, where he wouldn't track back, and let's not forget people like Kevin Saluce and players like that. So we said before, didn't we, when we lost Bartram early in the season, it was a bitter pill to swallow. Equally, when we got him back, we looked at the January window. Did we really have to sign anybody? Not really, because we actually got a player come in that felt like a new player when Bartram returned. So I've seen the footage. Bartram again looked very good. What I would say with Barnet, did they not have any Wi-Fi signal at all there on Saturday? Because, like you said, the press coverage was absolutely joking. And I hear there was no Wi-Fi, but is that true? What I hear?
I was never given access to any Wi-Fi. I spoke to Chris Slavin, the club journalist, about the Wi-Fi, and his simple response was, I don't know. You'll have to ask somebody else. Because I think Chris might have actually got access to Wi-Fi in the end, but it wasn't working on his laptop. So I think he had to wait until after the game to do the official club website report from the bar at Barnet to get access to any form of internet to do that. It was poor. Wasn't even offered a complimentary cup of tea or coffee or a biscuit or anything. So I was not too impressed. However, I'll tell you a funny story. Guy I sat next to, I didn't actually clock who he was working for, his freelance journalist, turns to me as the teams are coming out the tunnel. This was the first thing he said to me, Stu. He said, can I ask you a question? I said, yes. That's quite an easy question to answer as well. And then he said, why are Wimbledon playing in green? And I can't say the word on this podcast. We're a family-friendly podcast. But let's just say I was in tears laughing, and I explained to him the situation with our kits. I will give the kit men, Robin, I know you're listening, Trevor, you're listening, I know, I'll let you off this week, because we've got a midweek game on a Tuesday. It's a tight turnaround for the blue kit. We could have been in blue, but I realised that. But the white kit, should we just ignore we have it? Because I don't see a reason why we weren't in white, other than it being very muddy. And a very wet, windy, muddy pitch. Not best for white. Would have shown up how many tackles George Frankham didn't make. But there we go. On that subject, and with all the other things in the press box sort of woes, George Frankham, another assist. 10 assists this season. Much maligned George Frankham continues to be key in us picking up points, because without his assist, without him tracking back or pressing high the pitch to win the ball in an advanced area and setting up Aziz's second goal, we don't claim 3 points.
Yeah, we said last week, didn't we? Dead ball play, George, is as good as we can have in this league, and also getting balls in. I thought the goal on Saturday was just a brilliant goal in terms of Aziz managed to stay on side. We see obviously some work he's been doing in the summer, but George could have done a shot, and Niall Taylor was honest enough to admit on Don's player that he would have taken a shot all day long. But George, you could sense that Aziz was in the middle, took an extra touch, took the defender out, took everyone out. It's just a great goal. And you're right, it gave us that second goal that we needed, really, because you're always going to have the onslaught from Barnet. Just incidentally, Bezo is going through allowing the kids to applaud the Kemplay win, which he does. The players are going off now, as they are. We're getting ready now for the start of the game. But anyone who says Ashley Bays is normal, please come down here. He's not normal. He's an absolute fruitcake.
Yeah, and speaking about things not being normal, the last thing I'll say about Barnet before we look ahead to Carlisle and other things. Terraces that are trampolines. Now, I've been at some temporary stands in the past. Gillingham have a temporary stand which has a bit of bounce to it. Fulham's restructured stands behind the goals at Craven Cottage have a little bit of a bounce to them. Nothing like what I understand or could see from my own eyes, to be honest with you, at Barnet, with our fans jumping up and down. An interesting stadium that Barnet have. Clearly, possibly not really intended for big crowds, more intended as a non-league stadium with the potential, on the odd occasion, of getting a bigger attendance. Their infrastructure's not really there to handle a big crowd. They got Portsmouth this evening. I'll be very interested to see how the Portsmouth fans find their trip. There's not a lot of room, there's not a lot of facilities, and the stadium, I think, could possibly, if the wind blows in the wrong direction, fall to pieces like a Meccano set.
It was interesting to listen to Martin Allen actually after the Barnet game, because frankly, BBC London Sport, I don't know if you people have followed them on Twitter, but they do some really good interviews with Neil Hardy and a lot of London bosses after games. And Martin Allen basically just said we played the conditions better than they did, yet Barnet know what the conditions are like. So I don't think it's a surprise that the wind's swirling around and so forth like that at Barnet.
Tonight then we thought we'd do quick score predictions before the game, so we can actually on this very same podcast review what our soothsaying skills are like. Stu, very very quickly, a score prediction.
Yeah, can we change these at half time? As we're doing a sort of a live, like a live podcast. Yeah, always edit. So I'm going to go for, I think we're going to win by quite a few clear goals tonight. So I'm going to go probably for 3-0. I want a clean sheet, 3-0, 3-1, but I think we'll win quite comfortably tonight.
I'm not as sure as you know. I'm never as positive as you. I'm going to disagree. I think it's a draw tonight, just simply because we've won a few in a row now. We probably won't keep that ring on going. Abire got his suspension overturned, so he should be playing this evening. As far as I'm aware, he is, and he will probably score. So I'll go for a 2-2 draw. We will review those, of course, at the end of the show. We mentioned the Barnet game was being very wet for some of us in the press box. I think some on the opposite side also got a little bit rained on as well. Brought to mind some other famous games where we've come away having to wring out our jeans and our trainers and our jackets. Most famously, Stu, I'm not sure if you were there with Bristol Rovers when we lost 1-0, first season back in the Football League. The heavens opened at 3 o'clock and did not stop until 4:45 on the open terrace. Very much enjoyed my journey on the train back. I think I was with Paul Raymond that day, and we were just sat there hanging our clothes off the shelves in the train carriages to get them to dry. Not a happy experience. Home games wise, as we're home tonight, I don't know if you remember this, we played Cobham back in the CCL. We won 5-1. I got a very vivid memory of this game. Jones Banfo made his debut and came on. Jones Banfo, who was all of about 3 foot tall, but the ball was bigger than his legs. It began to absolutely pelt it down and sleet it down. And those were in the days when the Kemplo end was the athletics end without a roof. So I moved. I had enough, really. I thought I'm going to go and stand under the John Smith's terrace because it's got a roof and I can actually watch the game. I could not believe, fair play to those that stayed, but I could not understand the mentality. I thought there's no reason for you to just stay and take being basically pelted on for 45 minutes. But there we go. Maybe I'm just not as hard as I would like to make out. Any sort of memories of games such, maybe where the conditions have not been the most pleasant?
It's interesting. I remember I was actually watching through the. I was doing some research. I don't know how I was doing research, but I was looking through the AFC Wimbledon YouTube stuff, and there was a game commentated by Radio WDON, where we scored a goal, and it looked like it was probably League 2 or probably Conference, 1 or 2. Scored a goal, and they were celebrating, and all of a sudden this almighty shower just come in, and Radio WDON couldn't actually see through all the rain. They couldn't see who scored the goal, who was celebrating, anything. And down here we've also had, remember, the fog come in on one of the games, where all of a sudden the fog just coming from nowhere, the game was suspended. Everyone's thinking, do we go, do we stay? Fog went, played on. It's a really weird one. Going back to the Bristol Rovers game, remember it very well. My fiancée Lorraine went to that game. It's the first and last time she's going to visit Bristol Rovers, she's told me. We weren't even underneath. We weren't on the open terrace. We got a seat because I knew it was open terrace and so forth. However, where we sat, there was a gap in the marquee end, I called it. And we got soaked. We asked the guy if we could move, the steward. He said, no, you've got to sit in your seat. We politely looked up and said, we're getting wet. Anyway, with that half time losing, Lorraine decides she wants to go back to her car and she picked me up at the end of the game, which is great. She picked me up straight outside the entrance. However, when I got there, she said that she'd fallen flat on her arse. She was running for the game. She was running through the rain. And I don't know if you know Bristol Rovers, it's got quite a steep incline. And her with her flats on with no grip at all, fell on her arse. Sorry, a bottom for the kids listening. And I think we can do it, but she fell flat on her bottom. And so she don't want to go anywhere near Bristol Rovers again. So I remember that Bristol Rovers game very well.
She doesn't fancy a midweek trip to Bristol Rovers in a couple of weeks, then, no? No, not even for like a post-birthday treat for you, Stu, no? Never mind. To be honest with you, other than that, we were quite lucky, I think, generally. CCL, we went to a lot of grounds, but we got quite lucky with the weather, considering how open a lot of these grounds were. No games I can remember particularly being particularly problematic. Maybe a Walton Casuals once away from home. Wallingford's conditions weren't great on the way home. Reading Town maybe once. But generally I think we did cold. A lot of grounds that were very cold.
What was the ground we went to where we all celebrated because they had a roof? But we got there and there was a roof, but it was no longer in force.
Was that Feltham?
That was Feltham, that's right.
Yes, because actually we got wet because although it wasn't raining during the game, it had rained before the game, and the rain was continuing to drip off the structure. Yeah, happy times.
I remember that game very well.
Yeah, strange places we would do. Right, before we get them, kick-off is rapidly approaching. So do you quickly want to update us on the under-18s and where some of our lone players are up to at the minute?
Yeah, very quickly. We're about 5 minutes from kick-off, so we go through this very quickly. The under-18s won 3-1 away at Luton. Bearing in mind Luton in the next round of the FA Cup, the one that Chelsea beat us in the FA Youth, away at Blackburn, which is tonight, so we don't know the score before as we're obviously recording this, but they've beaten us already 5-0 at their place and 4-1 at our place. So we won 3-1. They did put a bit of a younger team out, but however, I'd imagine they've probably got quite a decent reserve, the new style we have. Luton.
Very, very good.
So, awesome, yeah. 3-1 win. Reece William Bowers got the first, come 2-0 at Anno, and then the third was by Merchant with a lovely run by Toby Simic. They are actually in action again on Friday away at Plymouth. I know this.
Is that tomorrow?
Friday, that's right. And this is listening tomorrow. Right. The under-18s are at Plymouth away. And I know that only because I was chatting to a few under-18s before the game, questioning why they're playing on a Friday, but they didn't know either. Lane Watch.
On a Friday night, those kids, you know what they'll be like. They'll all be out in blooming Oceana, won't they, instead? So again, playing football.
And Plymouth's a lovely place, of course. In terms of Lane Watch, we... If your iPad works, the technicalities of doing this at a game. Ben Harrison played 90 minutes against Grace in the week with Miss Abel. And then was at the Cherries Record Stadium playing Kingstonians. Got 53 minutes before coming off. Don't know whether that was an injury or not. But if things are out, we'll catch up with this a little bit later.
Hi, Seb Brown here, former AFC Wimbledon England legend. And when I can't get to the game, I get matchday updates on Twitter and Periscope at 9YRS Podcast.
Okay, so half time at the Cherries Record Stadium is 0-0 against Carlisle. Nick and I will go through that in a little while. Just quickly, just going through in terms of the Lane Watch that I was really interrupted with the teams coming out for the first half. In terms of Ben Harrison was here at the Cherries Record Stadium for Tunbridge on Saturday with a 3-1 win. K's in the playoff places, so a good win there. He did get 53 minutes against Kingsmeadow. Not too sure why he got substituted. Could have been they had a lot of games or could have had injury, but not really getting that much more information. In terms of Hampton and Richmond, they had a good 5-0 win against Needham Market, and Tom Beer scored their 4th goal in a 5-0 rout. Interesting news is Joe McDonald was not in goal for Hampton, not on their bench either, and when I dug down a bit deeper, they have signed a youth goalkeeper from Brentford on a youth loan. Do you remember them youth loans when we used to get them? Got a few of them, I think, in our time. But yeah, so looks like Joe McDonald is on his way back, probably to get another loan deal out there. So can't have said too much about that. I probably unearthed that when I was digging through for my report. So let's see what happens with that. So with that all done, we're now at half time against Carlisle. Nick, how do you think we're getting on?
Well, just before I actually, Stu, before I go on to the Carlisle game, sorry to change your question there, it'd be a pain in the backside. But just that Joe McDonald thing, that's news to me. Where does that leave him? If he's not getting the first team when James Shea was injured, we brought in Ben Wilson to come in. Now he's gone on loan to a non-league team and he's not getting the side. Is that... What are his options right now, realistically? What's it say about his prospects?
Difficult, isn't it? Because you have to... I don't know whether the club will come out and say why did they go and get another lone goalkeeper when they already had one. The goalkeeper they got, they had previously, from what I read in the report, as if he come back available, but sure they would have known that before they come and got Joe McDonald. If you've got a goalkeeper that's on loan from a League 2 club, there must be something wrong, or that keeper that's coming from Brentford's got to be a pretty good goalkeeper. I would suggest something's happened there, which the problem we're going to have now is that we want him to get games, so we need him to go back out on loan, because Shay's obviously playing for the under-21s, so he gets in no games, so he's going to have to go back out on loan somewhere else. And what does that do for his confidence if it is that they don't think he's good enough to play for them?
Yeah, well, that was just my line of thinking actually, was that word confidence and what he made of his options. But there we go. As for today's game then, so it's half time, it's 0-0. We've not played particularly well, I think that's fair to say. Carlisle have been a better side, but as I said to you during the game, Stu, aside from a couple of glaring misses which came from mistakes on our half, they've not really troubled us. Roos hasn't had to make maybe one save at the feet of a striker, maybe towards the latter, sort of the final 10 minutes and a half. Other than that, we've not really looked like conceding. We just haven't looked like getting a foothold in the game, getting enough possession going forward for me. A few players missing, I think. Tom Elliott not particularly improved position. Smith yet to really impose himself on it. But we've not conceded.
I think that's the silver lining. I must admit, I was a bit disappointed how we come out. We come out very slow. Carlisle come out very much on the front foot, playing two up front, and I have to say, Charlie White has definitely filled out a bit, hasn't he? He's a handful for Rob Owen Sweeney. We know about Ibrahim. Is that Ibrahim? We know about him. I can never pronounce his name. At BMA yesterday, we know about him, but I'm really surprised. They've also played two up, so they're obviously come here for a result. They're not coming here to try and nick a result. Hit a post early on for a mistake where I think we tried to play a ball in the box. Robbo opened up his body and then got taken off. They've had a few cross shots across the goal. Bruce is a commanding figure in goal, thankfully. You're right, the game's passed Smith by, unfortunately. I'd say he's not shown anything of what we are told that he's got, and hopefully he can settle down in the second half. We've had a few chances, the ball shot across goal, hit someone's knee, went over. Lyle Taylor's had some joy out on his left hand side, but yeah, we have carried a few players this first half, probably in shape of Bartram, Elliott, I would say, and we just need to really get our foot on the ball and start playing.
Do you want to revise your 3-1 prediction at this stage?
No, it's probably not. I've probably great opportunity to do that, but I still think there's goals in this game. I think Neil needs to get amongst them at half time. Maybe, I don't know, we just maybe need to switch to a diamond, or maybe look at whether Elliott is holding enough ball up there. Maybe Akinfenwa, maybe a bit more of a joy. I don't know, but these two up front have done well all season, so let's not hang around to dry too early on. But we need to retain more ball at the top end of the pitch to allow us to really get a bit of a foothold in the game, and we haven't been able to do that. So half time the game is precariously fixed in terms
precariously positioned. Were you just then, as I nearly coughed my guts up, were you just using the phrase we need to have more ball up forward, we need to keep more ball? We were just having this conversation. These are not rugby terms.
That's your brother's fault for keep using it.
I'm using it on Twitter, yeah. So Chris, you're a bad influence now because I'm using rugby terms. So I'm not going to indulge in this, Stu, but I will just say that I think if we get a couple of conversions in the second half, we'll be doing all right.
Let's keep trying anyway, you never know. Half time round the scores, Accrington 2-0 up against Notts County. What's happening to Notts County? Barnet 1-0 against Pompey. That's not a surprise. Our result there on Saturday was no fluke. They've got a great home record. Obviously 2-0 up at Exeter going through the motions, and Northampton winning at York. Not a major surprise. So half time, it's really for us. If we're looking at playoff places, we really do need to get a move on. But we're eighth as it stands at the moment. But yeah, I'm still confident. We're going to win this game. It's a home game. We'll win. We'll be fine.
If I've got that league table correctly, that's an as it stands table. If all results would stay the same, we were to get a win here, that would actually take us up to 5th.
You're correct.
That's quite something. So at the end of this podcast, at the end of the evening, we could either be 5th, or we could be as low as, well, a bit further down actually.
All roughly about 10th where we were.
Yeah,
so it's a massive game. This is a game where we've got to roll our sleeves up and go, do you know what? We've got to win this game. It's our game in hand. Carlisle are decent. They're better than what I thought. But if we're going to have a power place, we've got to beat teams like this anyway.
Talking about important things to win. I don't know if you can win the birthdays game, Stu, but I'm sure you can get some correct birthdays. And as we've got half time, we've got a bit of time to kill now. Do you want a couple? I've only got a couple today.
Let's go through it. Let's get some inspiration from a half time music from Mikey T.
Yeah, we're trying to speak over the PA system. Well, the first one then I've got for you is someone that surname rhymes with a word you'd normally associate with people from Buckinghamshire. It's actress Emily Blunt.
To be fair, I've heard the name. I can't remember She
was in the Devil Wears Prada. That film.
Which is an old film, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
she's also been in a couple of other things which she's very good in.
Let's go for a random. It's going to be under. I'm looking at 45 on the scoreboard there. I think it's got to be underneath that. So let's go for 35.
Very close. 33 apparently. Yeah. But I'm a big fan of her work.
I'm sure you are.
I am.
I'll research that when we finish.
Trust me, you will do. Someone I'm a bigger fan of is professional wrestling legend, 16-time world champion Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. He's the one who goes, woo!
Yeah, a little bit better than that though.
Yeah, I've got
with an asthma attack.
I have got a cold by it, so I will try and do a better one eventually. But he's always had grey hair ever since I've seen him. So that doesn't really give much away about his age. He must be late 40s. Can they still perform at that age?
Well,
48.
He was. Trust me, Stu, he was performing to an age a lot greater than that when he retired. He is now retired finally, but you'll be surprised how old he is.
You go. I'm going to go 48, but I'm assuming that's well out.
19 years out. 67.
Wow.
He was wrestling up until 2008, I think. Even further than that. And now he's 67. He's finally given up the ghost. At long last, he should have done it about 10 years ago.
So has he now become a commentator? Is that how it works in the?
At the moment, he's just a personality that accompanies his daughter to the ring for her matches.
Like some of that old granddad who really should be not be even seen out much, so he didn't go stay indoors.
Certainly not pretending he's still the same Ric Flair of 30 years ago, no. But there we go, such is life.
Fair play, that's
wrestling.
Yeah, fair play. Okay, I was well out on that one, but that surprised me.
There we go, just a couple then for this week. And then a quick reminder then about teas. If you've got any ideas, I am pretty confident I've got this correct, by the way. If someone thinks I've got it wrong, feel free to tweet us or Facebook us at 9YRS Podcast. But I think I've got the answer. Have you got any ideas, Stu, about the last time we were involved in a game with 9 goals?
My thinking is, and we were talking about a kit, we were talking about a white kit. I've got a feeling it was Chesser and a hook. Wasn't there a 5-4 game, multiple sending offs and stuff like that in a white kit?
Do you know what? That's not a bad shout. I think that was 5-3.
Wasn't there like that many sending offs as well?
There was lots of sendings off. The ref was sent off. I was sent off just for watching the game from behind a goal. That was 5-3, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you a clue then, and then listen up. We're thinking along the same lines. It was in the Rymanley days.
Wow, so 9 goals, it's got to be a 5-4, isn't it? It can't be a 6-3.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stu, there's a couple of other combinations.
7-2-8-1s. Was there an 8 or a 9-0? Was there a 9-0 down here?
9-0. I'll leave you for that one to think, and I'll give you the answer at the end. But.
That worries me, because I think we did win down here. My mate, Russell, played right back because we gave him grief all the half. How did I forget about that? Okay.
I'm not sure if that's the one either, but we'll see. We shall see. Right, I think that pretty much does us for the half-time little round-up, I think, and then we'll do a little update of the game afterwards and sign off then.
Yes, hopefully we'll be as positive as we are. Well, we'll say we're positive. We're still in the game, but just join you after the game and hopefully for 3 points.
fifth in the league. We're in the car park after the game now, and having clung on to a 1-0 victory by hook or by crook, to use a cliche, we are fifth in the table, Stu. It's time to start dreaming that we're going up. We could even go up automatically at this point now.
Well, you've got to look at it. We're now, 4 points behind Oxford, so we've kept in place with them. We've won tonight. Northampton, goodbye Northampton. They've gone well out of sight now, haven't they? Pompey proved actually what a good win our victory at Barnet was by going there and winning. Losing 1-0. So that's interesting. Yeah, what a great evening. To be fair, Carlisle probably one of the better teams that have come down here, big and strong, weren't they? And I think when the referee blew that whistle, I think it wasn't. Yeah, probably a bit of relief, but I think actually we realised actually how good a victory that was in the end.
Yeah, they pushed us really hard. We were saying during the game we were very, very impressed with them. One player we weren't particularly impressed with, and you did mention it to me at half time, although you did not mention it on the podcast, but I will be fair to you, you did mention this, was the keeper. You said he looked nervy in the first half, and then within a minute of the restart, he's come out second to a challenge with Tom Elliott, got himself sent off. And that's what's won us the game at the end of the day.
Yeah, he did. I think there's a couple of things that won us the game. I think, he did look great from crosses. He seemed to... He's a big lump. He's 6'2", 6'3". So I think what probably won us here, I think to be fair, I think Ardley did give him a rollicking because Elliott come out and won a lot of headers, didn't he, and stuff like that. And the goal was a great link up with Lyle just threading the ball through to Elliott. Elliott was smart because in terms of last man isn't always the sending off as we've had on Twitter this evening.
Yes, it's been mentioned.
And I think what Elliott done was knocked it at the other side of the centre half, who was level with the keeper, and actually made it a goal scoring opportunity that he denied. So from there, but you would never get, if you come into the game at 60 minutes, you wouldn't have said this was 10 against 11. Carlisle put up a great fight. I think for the first time this season we showed what a victory meant in terms of we wanted that victory so bad, and we probably didn't play with the sensible we should have done. We got caught up in the moment, but 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, we did tend to drop a lot. We got very, very deep towards the end. Carlisle putting a lot of balls into our box, a lot of big players, a lot of tall players, causing us a lot of problems. I think we got away with one coming off the post in the second half as well, towards the end. But what a heroic effort in terms of just keeping in there, sticking in there, digging it out. Getting a result when you're not playing particularly well, but the character and determination of the side is what has got us through. Got us a clean sheet, got us 3 points as well. Yeah,
and the goal, you're looking at the two people that actually reacted to Lyle Taylor's free kick from the parry from the keeper was Robbo and Sweeney, and I thought them two excellent. I thought they were excellent all night, and Robbo, not surprised he got a goal, leads by example, doesn't he, and stuff like that. And
well, he was the one putting his head in where it hurts for the rebound from Taylor's free kick following the red card.
And Kelly Roos, clean sheet. I thought he played well. Done everything. If you look at him, I didn't really think he made any errors, and at the end there, he looked as calm as anybody out there, didn't he? At the end, so
yeah. Obviously, we're recording this immediately after the game. I think we've put our names forward for the Man of the Match poll on Twitter. You can check out that on Twitter at 9YS Podcast to see who you voted as Man of the Match. Plus, our Don's 3-word reports, of course. So that will still be open as we launch this podcast on Thursday. If you want to add yours on Twitter as well. Looking ahead then, Stu, 5th place now, closing in on the automatic promotion berth. If we beat Oxford on Saturday, we close the gap to them, and then we can start dreaming of further than just the playoffs at the moment. But are we getting ahead of ourselves?
If you're 5th in the table, you've got to surely be looking to third place. If you're looking to try and keep a playoff place, you're probably going to end up failing of doing that. So you've got to keep pushing. And as Neil will probably say, it's all about amassing points. We looked at 70 points. I think he's going to review that now, as we're on 51 now with 14 to play. Looks like probably more than 70 points is going to be needed, but going to Oxford game on Saturday, and it shows what a tough lot of games we've got coming up. And I don't think that was a bad game to have personally in warm up for the Oxford game.
So for the Oxford game, and then coming out obviously after that, we've got more big games. We've got Accrington. No, yes.
Bristol Rovers after Oxford.
No, it's not, is it? We have a Saturday game after that. Before that, on the 5th.
Accrington.
It is Accrington. Yeah. See, we do our research on the show, you can tell.
Of course, no, sorry. Actually, if we do our research properly, we go Oxford and then we go to Northampton on a Tuesday.
Then we go to Northampton on the 14th of March. When do we go to Northampton?
We go to Northampton after Oxford.
Do we really? Shows you how much I know, listeners.
This is what we did. See, this is a prep we did, and you can tell now it's getting proper cold outside Kingsmeadow, and it's not a surprise that our brains have gone a bit frozen.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to solve this. I'm going to save us probably too hot.
So Nick's going to now look and try and make sure that he's not wrong, but to be fair, I've been planning my journeys around it all.
Do you know what? I told you a lie earlier then, because I can make Northampton on the 1st of March if I can get away from working time, so I might.
So Nick can go. So
Northampton away, following Oxford at home, big game. Bristol Rovers in the following midweek. Wow, what a
It is,
run.
and if you look at Oxford, not to sort of really dampen today's game, it's going to be tough against them. We haven't done much against them. We haven't won against them at home. We haven't scored against them at home. So our record is quite. They've got 4 wins at our place, 1 draw. The draw was the last game. So if we're going to start going to sort of like positive situations, that's a positive. But we haven't scored against them. Oxford have actually got a better away record than we have, which I did double check. And if you look at the top teams in the league, apart from Northampton, which is probably not a surprise, everyone's got a better away record than a home record, which probably tells you what sort of a league it is. And look at Carlisle tonight. Somebody done a number on us tonight, wasn't it?
Well, you say about Oxford as well. They've won away tonight. Handsomely 4-1. Northampton have won away from home as well. Northampton, though, they've won. Do you know what? I think Northampton have won like 20 of their last 20 games or something. It's ridiculous.
I don't think the form table is going to change. We're averaging 2.5 points a game. And we were, I think, this season at the moment, 1.66 overall. So if we keep averaging 2.5 points a game, of course you can't do that mathematically, but in the averaging, we're probably...
Out, yeah.
But yeah, so Oxford, and then we go to Northampton. And Northampton, I think, Nick, if we took a point now, Northampton would probably, thank you very much, would take that. I think that's what we've got to probably do. Look at beating Oxford at home, which is by no stretch of imagination an easy thing. But I think tonight probably proved that we actually probably got a bit of the nerve to be. Because I think they're going to take a few points off people.
Yeah, they were. As you said, they were a decent time. They gave us a really big test. Saturday, then, any other fixtures that affect us or we need to be looking at?
That's very good. To be fair, there's not really much going on around. I'm just going to quickly do some quick research as that caught me up unawares. I don't think there's much going on in the division in terms. I think ours is probably our game against Oxford is probably going to pick up most of the headlines. I would have thought that's quite a big game in there. Just going to check now. By the way, Barcelona beat Arsenal 2-0 whilst I'm just trying to fill time.
And while Stu's doing this, by the way, I should just mention something else that was interesting coming up tonight was the linesman tonight, by the way. Randomly, listeners, if you were listening, the linesman apparently was the linesman when we beat Staines in the playoff final in the Ryman League a few years ago, and he actually asked to referee at our stadium. As he is retiring this season, the last 8 games that you officiate, apparently before retirement, you get to choose or at least ask for games you'd like to officiate, and he chose to come down to Kingsmeadow, which was very nice of him, and I thought the linesman had some interesting games this evening. But looking at the fixtures for ahead of Saturday,
What, looking at Wickham, Bristol Rovers, Wickham, sort of on the edges now. Bristol Rovers, obviously, their takeover news, and that's another story to go, isn't it? Pompey at home to Cambridge. Cambridge started picking up a bit of form, haven't they, recently as well? So
big game at the bottom, Dagenham and Yeovil. Dagenham and Richmond taking on Yeovil.
Hartlepool with a new manager. Obviously, was it Craig Hignett up there, isn't it? They won at home to Yeovil last week. So Wildy, Northampton. It's nice that they're travelling a little bit of distance before they play us, isn't it? And hopefully the Northerners up there can give them a kick and not really encourage people to injure players, but that's been
anything that helps us out would be quite nice, wouldn't it?
But the big game, of course, is Wimbledon Oxford. That must be surely. Accrington at home to Barnet. I can't see Barnet doing nothing there, really.
No, tough place to go, isn't it? Right, to sum this all up then, Stu, on the basis of what we've seen this evening, this week with Barnet, 2 wins this week, Barnet and Carlisle this evening, are we going up?
I'm probably going to be quite boring, go one game at a time. I think you have to this time of season. You have to go one game at a time. If you look at the form table, we have been second in the form table for weeks and weeks and weeks, and that means something in terms of your current situation. I look at the team now. Tonight probably proved a little bit of another tick off your list. Battled in against a hard working team, big team, physical team. I think so. But let's come out of the back end of probably probably Morecambe. I think once we get to Morecambe, where we are placing the table at Morecambe, once we've got on Bristol Rovers, Accrington, we'll know a bit more. But let's enjoy it. It's definitely better. It's more fun than being at the bottom of it.
Thank you very much, Stu. Right, updates then, we should say, from the Oxford game and then the following the Northampton game will be available at 9YRS Podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram for those, Periscope as well, and of course follow us on Facebook. And thank you very much for downloading this week's show. If you have done so via iTunes, just give us that 5-star rating and give us your feedback on the comment section. Just help boost our profile even further. Teaser, did you get an answer? Last time we were involved in a game with 9 goals.
No, I must admit, I thought it might have been a home win against
It was a home win.
Chesingham, but I'm going with Chesingham all the way through. I don't really know, to be true.
No, Stu, do you know what? It was 9-0 versus Slough Town in the Ryman Premier days, and I think Frankie Howard might have even scored a hat-trick that night.
Right, it's centre-half.
Yeah, centre-half, yeah.
That probably shows it all. We don't get many games like that anymore. After we've just seen it 1-0. Don't see many 9-0s, do we now? But
well, do you remember some of the CCL days when we'd win 8-7, 8-9-0, whatever? We'd sit in the second half and get very, very bored, and we'd long for days like for tight 1-0s where we get a bit nervous and anxious towards the end, and that's exactly what we've had tonight.
Yeah.
And we've come through it in typical Wimbledon style. So there we go.
Yeah. And for our debut of doing a podcast at a match, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a different way of doing it.
It has. It's been good fun though. Very much enjoyed it. Hopefully when we listen back we won't have too many interruptions from Mikey T or Rita Ora or anyone else this week. But no, it's been good. Very much enjoyed it, and I hope you have too.